Sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
Remember how S.H.I.E.L.D. is putting together a team of superheroes?
Yeah, are you going to tell me about the Avengers?
Eventually, but first we have to meet everybody. This story is about Iron Man.
Show me. I want to see it.
So we meet a guy named Tony Stark.
Is he related to Howard?
Yes he is.
Write that down.
Howard's actually his dad.
I know that it's confusing.
And Tony's being awarded for his advancements in weapons manufacturing.
Welcome, Tony Stark, the most famous mass murderer in the history of America.
But he's too busy partying to actually attend.
I'm just not the type, clearly, with this laundry list of character defects.
Because he's a genius, he doesn't have to apply himself much, and he spends a lot of time just kind of doing whatever he wants.
So you're a man who has everything and nothing.
The number 2 for the company steps up and makes a speech for him. This man is Obadiah Stane, and he ran Stark Industries until Tony was old enough.
We're a team, like your father and I.
He's the bad guy, right?
Why do you say that?
That's a bad guy name.
Just let me tell the story.
Yes, please.
A reporter comes up and asks him some questions, but since she's pretty, he decides to give her an exclusive.
That's how Dad did it, that's how America does it, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
Because Tony's rich, he thinks that he's better than everyone else.
Hey, Forrest.
Remember me?
Sure don't.
We met once, you know.
Carrie.
Christine.
Don't remember.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, it's very cool.
But there's a few people in his life that he actually cares about. Pepper Potts, who runs his life.
I always forget to wear a deodorant.
Happy Hogan, who runs his security.
She's cute. She's all right.
And Jarvis, an artificial intelligence that runs his house.
A very astute observation, sir.
There's also James Rhodes, who's his go-to with the military.
You know, when you need your diaper change, thank you. Let me know, and I'll get you a bottle, okay?
And you get the feeling he takes advantage of him.
Spring break, 1987.
I swear I didn't expect to see you walking around so soon.
There's questions that I would ask him if he was conflicted, if he ever had doubts.
What was his name?
Don't do that.
Was it Ivan?
Don't do that. They'll believe that. Don't do that.
Okay.
What's wrong with you? No,
Don't be mad.
I told you I'm not mad. I'm indifferent, okay?
I said I was sorry.
You don't respect yourself, so I know you don't respect me.
And he's flying with him to Afghanistan to demonstrate a new missile called the Jericho for the Air Force.
I'm sorry, this is the fun V. The humdrum V is back there.
While he's riding in a military convoy, they're attacked.
I didn't expect that.
He wakes up in a cave where they're making a video for his ransom.
Is it cool if I take a picture with you?
Please, no gang signs.
He passes back out and wakes up to find that he had surgery on his chest, and he's now hooked up to a car battery. The battery is powering an electromagnet that's keeping the shrapnel from entering his heart.
Souvenir.
I've been called many things. Nostalgic is not one of them. That's a picture of me and my dad. Right there.
The surgery was performed by the science guy who he met at a conference a few years ago.
Jarvis, you get an invite for that?
A terrorist group known as the 10 Rings enter and tell him that they want him to build a missile.
I refuse.
So the more you struggle, the more this is going to hurt.
Be gentle, it's my first time.
But he knows that they'll never let him go, so he plans an escape.
Don't wait up for me, honey.
But first, he can't carry a car battery around all the time, so he builds an arc reactor to replace it.
Is it safe?
The arc reactor is a power device his dad invented as an alternative fuel source, but it was never perfected. He wants to use it to power the magnet and weaponize a super suit.
Yes, that should help you keep a low profile.
They see him working on something that clearly isn't a missile.
Working on a secret project, are we, sir?
So they come into the lab and threaten them. They give him a deadline of tomorrow to build the missile, or they're gonna kill him.
But he's the only one that can build it. Why would they kill him?
They really don't think he's building the missile anyway, so they really wouldn't be out anything.
You got it. You're absolutely right.
So they finish the suit, but they need more time for it to power up. So the science guy grabs a gun and he tries to hold off the guards, but he stupidly fires at the ceiling instead of the bad guys, and he ends up getting shot.
Went that bad, huh?
The suit works and Tony takes out all the bad guys. It's strong, it's bulletproof, it has missiles, and even a flamethrower. He sees Jensen one last time where he tells him,
Don't waste your life.
and then he dies. And this pisses Tony off, so he goes off to do uber damage. After kicking some bad guy butt, he blows up all their weapons and flies away.
The suit flies?
Yeah, I can fly.
Well, kinda. It breaks when he lands. The blast was big enough to get the Air Force's attention, and Rhodey picks him up.
How was the fun be?
He gets back to America where he tells Pepper to call a press conference, and he has Happy get him a Whopper.
Why isn't Obadiah there?
It doesn't matter.
Probably off doing bad guy stuff.
I guess he's off organizing the press conference that he didn't know Tony would want.
You can't afford to be this naive.
We see that Agent Coulson approaches Pepper for a statement, but she blows him off.
Are we sure it's him and not the squirrel from the train?
He could be. We don't ever find out. But Tony announces that he's closing the weapons division of his company.
Look, that's a weapons company that doesn't make weapons!
Well, they make other stuff too.
Vodka martinis extra dry.
But Tony was almost killed by his own weapons. And now that he knows that they're getting into the wrong hands, he wants to stop it.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'll be out of a job with peace.
Speaking of hands, Tony needs Pepper's small hands to perform a small surgery to get him an upgrade on his arc reactor.
Yeah, vacation's over.
He then goes to work on Mark II of the super suit. He's trying to make sure this one flies, but the tests don't go so well.
What? It's completely harmless.
Okay, this is where I don't want to be.
Obadiah shows up to tell him that the board wants him out, and then he steals his pizza.
How is he not the bad guy?
Shut up.
A little ostentatious, don't you think?
Anyway, he figures out the flight stabilizers and gets it to work. He takes the finished suit out for a test flight, but Jarvis argues that he should run some configurations. But Tony's a little too excited. He flies too high and ice builds up on the suit. The power fails and he falls to Earth. But the power turns on right at the last second, and he goes home to break all his stuff.
What was I thinking? You're usually so discreet.
He gets back home to find a present from Pepper.
Okay. Wow, will you look at that? That's something else. I don't have any of those floating around.
Back in Afghanistan, the 10 Rings have found the suit that Tony used to escape, and they're trying to put it back together.
Puzzle.
Of course.
Tony and Jarvis try to figure out the icing problem, but end up addressing the potential of it being able to go into space.
Perhaps if you intend to visit other planets, we should improve the exosystems.
A report on the news says that Tony has PTSD, so he rushes to a charity event to prove them wrong.
Look great, Hef.
Coulson approaches Tony for a debriefing, but he blows him off because Pepper looks pretty.
Good God, you're a woman. I couldn't have called that.
And she's pretty embarrassed that he's hitting on her in front of everyone.
He always gets the good stuff, doesn't he?
The reporter from earlier shows up and shows him some pictures of the 10 Rings unloading Stark weapons, including the Jericho missile, which never made it to market.
There it is, that was easy.
Tony asks Obadiah about it, and he admits that he's the one who wanted him voted out of the company, and he's been selling weapons to the terrorists.
I told you.
Yeah. Anyway, Tony decides to go fight the 10 Rings and give the people back their homes. He destroys all their weapons and heads back to America. The Air Force wants to shoot him down, so he has to call Rhodey to let him know it's him.
I thought I lost you back there.
Obadiah goes to see the 10 Rings, and we find out that he hired them to kill Tony.
I see, so it's personal.
They show Obadiah Mark I, and he pulls out this noisemaker that paralyzes Raza.
Please don't turn down my music.
And his mercenaries kill their army. And I'm guessing this was pretty easy, because they're not exactly the brightest. Obadiah calls his lab to let him know that they have a new project.
I'm gonna have to call you back.
Tony sends Pepper to get proof that Obadiah was dealing under the table. She finds the information she needs, plus that Obadiah has Mark I and a video that proves he hired the 10 Rings to kill Tony.
I don't understand why.
I worried that I was killing the golden goose.
What?
A what?
Worst things have happened. I think we're gonna be fine.
But Obadiah walks in, and she uses Coulson to escape.
This isn't my first rodeo, Mr. Stark.
Obadiah goes to his lab, but the scientist can't make the power supply.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
So he goes to steal Tony's chest piece. Pepper tries to call to warn him, something like 14 hours after she finds the proof, but Obadiah somehow made it first.
It's impossible.
As Tony is paralyzed, he tells him that he put the hit out on him, and then he rips out his new heart.
I would say panic.
His actual heart is nice enough not to fail on him until he can get downstairs like 20 minutes later.
I'd make it a week.
Rhodey goes over to Tony's house to see if he's okay. While Tony suits up, he tells him that Pepper's gone with Coulson to arrest Obadiah.
Yeah, it should be fine.
But Obadiah's in the Ironmonger suit, and he attacks the agents.
We built that thing to shut the hippies up.
Tony is on his way, but the old chess piece doesn't have much energy left.
You look fantastic. I didn't recognize you.
So he lures Obadiah up to where the ice will freeze the suits. The Ironmonger suit freezes over.
Hey, what a surprise.
And he ends up falling back to Earth. Somehow Obadiah survived the fall and fights Tony on the roof.
This looks important!
He has Pepper overload the circuit on the arc reactor below him and blows Obadiah up.
I do anything and everything that Mr. Stark requires, including occasionally.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm working on something big. Not bad, huh?
I thought it'd be bigger.
That's not bad.
It smells.
Yeah, it does. There are two things I want to do.
That was totally weird.
Am I making you uncomfortable? And the other?
I don't think that I'm qualified to do.
You're gonna do it.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just going into cardiac arrest.
Will that be all, Mr. Stark?
That's not gonna be enough.
Don't ever ask me to do anything like that ever again.
Coulson gives him an alibi to follow.
The truth is,
but he loves the attention too much.
I am Iron Man. Not technically accurate. The suit's a gold titanium alloy.
And S.H.I.E.L.D. is not happy about this. Tony comes home to see a bad mother Flurkin lurking in the shadows. That's right, it's McFlurry.
I still can't believe he had his eye scratched out by a kitty.
Again, Goose wasn't a kitty. He was a Flurkin, a dangerous alien so powerful it was able to eat the Tesseract. But anyway, he invites him to be a part of the Avengers Initiative.
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
Is it better to...
Like or subscribe?
I say. Is it too much to ask for both?